this might be a controversial take, but I think the reason women flake on dates and in general don't respect men or their time is because they have way too many options. Not just options, they have way too many options. They did a study on like this ice cream store, and they found that when you only have a few flavors, people are far more likely to buy the ice cream versus, you know, you have 3 or 4 flavors. This is what it is. Pick one, bam, they go and they buy and whatever. But when you have a bunch of different ice cream flavors, the people aren't able to pick. And what ends up happening is they just look, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed, and just leave the store.
Yeah.
And what I would argue is that today, women get way too much attention. They get way too much validation thanks to social media, internet, dating apps, etc. And what it's done is it's made girls, with all due respect, really think that their shit don't stink and think that they're better than they really are. And it makes them think that they're hotter than they really are. They have higher value than they really do. And attention is fleeting. You know, to be honest with you, right? Like, you got the paradox of choice. But what women don't understand is that just because you have a bunch of dudes in your DMs or a bunch of guys that want to take you out, right, and have sex with you, because that's why guys hang out with women in general, right? And I tried to explain this earlier, does not necessarily mean that you can go ahead and land a guy and keep him. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that most girls can't keep guys around. You know, guy game is, can you attain the girl? Girl game, can you retain the guy? And I would argue most women can't. But it stems from this this abundance of options, right? So here's how I would marry the two. On this podcast, we noticed that a lot of guys have a scarcity mindset. A lot of you guys said earlier, guys like text you, you know, even after you stop talking to them, right? Because they want to try to get some intimacy, right? They have a scarcity mindset, right? So men typically tend to have a scarcity mindset. Women tend to have an abundance mindset. But my thing is, I think guys have a scarcity mindset to a point that it really detriments them. They'd be better off moving on and talking to another girl. And women have an abundance mindset to the point that it really hurts them. As in, they have way too many options. They're not able to filter and find a guy and then keep him. So I think both of us suffer on different ends of the spectrum from different, I guess, dating disabilities, if we want to call it a term.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that. Agree, disagree. Women are kind of in a position now where they can demand the best of the best because they have so many options.
Many options.
And what ends up happening is, I would argue, the lack of options the abundance of options for women actually hurts them.
They go stir crazy.
Yeah.
They don't do
I would say girls do pick, though, but the best option that they think that they have. So they're going to choose, but what they think is the best option at that point in time.
Yeah. But the thing is girls have so many options now, it's become an issue because they don't know value.
I mean,
you're both right.
It's simple.
You're both right.
I'm gonna just boil this down.
You're both
it's very
right.
simple.
Yeah.
We live in unparalleled times of human communication and interconnectivity with the internet. So what Zena's saying, yes, women had options back then, true, but not on this level. This is unprecedented.
I get it. I was just saying now.
So like, because at least back then, because we talked about this before the advent of the internet, women had to go outside to get attention from men. It actually meant something because women had to actually put their foot out there and get attention from men, and they actually respected it and admired it when a guy approached them.
Yeah.
Nowadays, with all the attention they get, they don't respect it at all. I would argue most women don't respect most men. And my argument is simply this: as women get more options, it actually hurts them in the long run, because what ends up happening is, if I'm on Instagram and I'm getting hit up by celebrities and guys that are attractive or guys that are 3, 4, 5 numbers above me, let's say I'm a 6 as a girl, but a dude that's an 8 or a 9 hitting me up, I'm going to think I deserve that caliber of man. But what they don't realize is you deserve that caliber of man for sex only. You're not going to get him to commit to you. And a lot of girls tend to have this overinflated sense of self-worth. Like, I'm going to be able to get that guy to commit to me. And the answer is no. Because when men have options and they're attractive, they fuck all the girls. So what this abundance has really done is it's given all the power and the leverage to a very small minority of men. And the women are the ones in the masses losing, because that good guy, that nice guy that would have taken you out and given you a family and children and everything else like that, that guy is now ignored because he's not attractive enough. He doesn't make enough money. He's not tall enough. He doesn't make enough. He's not good looking enough, right? Because we live in this world now where vanity is there, beauty is everywhere, right, on the internet. But the reality is these guys are far and few between. There's not enough of these attractive men to go around to all the women. So what do the girls do? Well, I'm not settling. I make my own money. I don't fucking need these regular guys. Well, they stay single. And the guys that they want stay single themselves too, because women are the ones that are pushing for marriage and security. Men want sexual abundance. So if a man has the power and the ability to have money and get other girls, why the fuck is he going to commit to you? And I don't think women understand that it's supply and demand, this basic concept of supply and demand. So yes, you have all the options that you want, but how many of them are real options?
I think also as well, just to answer your point, if you have abundance of like options yourself, that's like excess attention leads to entitlement. And that entitlement clouds your judgment, because now you feel like you said earlier, you feel like, okay, if he's hitting me up, he's hotter, he's successful, I deserve him. But in reality, the guy could be maybe your next door neighbor, someone you knew for a long time, that would actually be a good candidate for you. You don't even see him because he's invisible. So
yeah, it used to be you can, you'd get in a relationship with maybe the guy down the street.
yeah,
But why are you going to get with Billy down the street when Chad from LA, who has a blue tick,
or New York,
is
Miami.
inviting you to come visit him in Los Angeles? Well, we already know what happens when you leave women to their own devices. When you leave women to their own devices, they pick the top 5% of men. They pick the best of the best. So that's just how it goes. So like, and the numbers don't work. So what ends up happening is we have more single women than ever before. We have the highest divorce rates. We have the highest initiations of breakups from women. So I think this constant mindset that the grass is greener on the other side, or I'm going to manifest my man, is a very dangerous mindset for women that's going to keep them perpetually single. Because quite frankly, at some point you will have to settle, and you're not always going to be as hot as you were when you were 21 versus when you're 31.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Well,
I think just the biggest thing girls need to understand is that if you're going to be with a winner, understand that you're going to be with that winner temporarily, or you're just going to have a spot, but there's going to be other girls there fighting for that guy, supply and demand. But all the girls are fighting for a small percentage of guys and wonder why they're single.
The big thing is, how do you stand out?
Here's the thing. Men don't value intellect as much as women do, and competency.
Yeah.
They really don't. So for a woman, like, cool, if you want to go to school and be smart and become a lawyer, like in your case or whatever, that's fantastic for you. But I'll be honest with you, like, hiring men typically don't really care too much about a woman's intellect or education level or her ability to earn money.
I would have to say I agree with you completely, but I would have to also say I agree with you because a lot of high value men like trophy wives. They like agreeable women. They like all of these things because that's what's appealing. They don't want to come home and have a bitch.
Yeah.
They want to come home and have someone that's going to cater to them.
Yeah.
That's going to suck their
And that's the way it should be.
It's going to get them off.
Personally.
Don't bother with anything else.
Who hurt you?
I would like to consider myself.
I'm kidding.
She gets to that. Men and women are different.
Yeah.
But for women, I would argue if you don't have your shit together as a woman and you don't have a man or someone you're seriously seeing by the time you're 30 years old, you're not in a good place because your biological time clock is ticking. Like, a majority of your eggs are gone by the time you're 30, and then by 35, it's a considered a high risk pregnancy.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think women need to understand that there is a biological time clock where you have to consolidate on the best guy that you can while you're still at your peak. But a lot of girls want to, play high stakes poker and stay in the fucking casino until it closes, thinking that they're going to be able to cash out. And unfortunately, a lot of the time you can't do that. The lights come on, end of the club, all the hot girls are gone. Who's left? The fucking whales.
Yeah.
Right? From as an analogy, so to speak.
No, I get it.
Miss Psychology, what say you?